This is the final movement, the journey of a single inch that is, in truth, the only journey there is. We have spent a lifetime, perhaps many lifetimes, navigating the world of the head. We have lived in the realm of concepts, labels, and stories. We have believed that the next thought would be the one to bring us peace, that the next idea would be the one to finally explain it all. But the head is a compass that points everywhere, but here it points to the past with its regrets and memories. It points to the future with its fears and fantasies. It is a wonderful tool for navigating the world, but a terrible place to make your home. The peace you are looking for was never stored in a thought, and it never will be. The heart, in the sense we speak of it here, is not the emotional heart, though it includes feeling. It is not the physical heart, though it can be felt in the center of the chest. It is the core of your being, the seat of your true knowing. It is the place before language, before division, before the story of me and mine began. It is the very essence of the I am presence. To move from the head to the heart is to shift the very center of your gravity. It is to stop identifying as the thinker of your thoughts and to start resting as the awareness in which thinking happens. It is a movement from complexity to profound simplicity. This journey does not require a passport. It does not require you to travel to a distant ashram or to achieve a certain state of purity. It is the simplest and yet sometimes the most difficult thing in the world because it requires no doing, only being. It is an inward curl of attention, a gentle dropping down out of the noisy marketplace of the mind and into the quiet cathedral space of the heart. You can practice this now. You can feel the aliveness in your hands. You can notice the breath as it enters and leaves the body. You can bring your attention to the center of your chest and simply rest there as if you were sinking into a warm, still lake. You are not trying to achieve anything. You are not trying to feel anything specific. You are simply coming home. In this space, the truth, I am here, is no longer a phrase. It is a lived reality. It is the substance of your being. The separation dissolves because the one who felt separate, the thinker in the head, has been seen through. What remains is a sense of vast, loving, intelligent presence that is both who you are and where you are. The seeker has vanished, and only the sought remains, and it was here all along. This is not an attainment, it is a recognition. It is not the end of a path, but the realization that you were always home, simply dreaming of being lost. My friends, gather close. Let us breathe together in this space. You have felt it, haven't you? That quiet ache in the chest. The whisper in the dark that asks, is anyone there? Does anyone seize this burden I carry? We build entire lives on the search for an answer to that whisper. We look for it in achievements, in the eyes of others, in frantic motion. And we are left with an echo. But what if the answer was never a complex doctrine to be studied? What if it was not a distant God to be pleaded with? What if the answer was not a statement, but a presence? Today, we lay down our heavy backpacks of seeking. We stop chasing a mystery in the clouds because the most profound truth, the one that dismantles every fear, is just 3 words. God is not saying, I will be there. The universe is not whispering, you will find me one day. The truth is being spoken into this very moment, into the silence between your heartbeats. I am here. This changes everything. Your loneliness, your anxiety, your feeling of being lost. It was all built on a story that you were separate, that you were alone in the room, but you never were. So let us explore this. Let us feel the weight of this truth, not as a theory, but as a reality that can hold you. If this truth finds a home in you, if it quiets the storm even for a moment, then let that be known. Press the like on this video so others who are searching might also find this refuge. In the comments below, simply write the number 3, a symbol for the 3 words that change everything, and subscribe to continue this journey with this community from a place of seeking to a place of resting. Because the most important journey is not to a distant star, but the 1 inch down from your head to your heart. Are you ready to feel what has always been true? That quiet ache in the chest. The whisper in the dark that asks, is anyone there? Does anyone see this burden I carry? This is not a unique pain. It is a universal human experience. It is the foundational H of what we might call separation. We feel it as a gap, a space between ourselves and something we intuitively know we belong to. We are born into this world from a place of pure connection, and the journey of life, with its individuation and its trials, can feel like a slow moving away from that source. We build a self, a personality, an ego, and with it comes the subtle, persistent feeling of being cut off, of being a branch that has forgotten it is part of the tree. This ache manifests in 1,000 different ways. It is the loneliness you feel in a crowded room. It is the hollow sensation after a fleeting accomplishment. It is the anxiety that whispers that you are not enough, that you must do more, be more, acquire more to finally feel whole. It is the deep existential tiredness that comes not from physical labor, but from the spiritual weight of holding up your own identity, of believing you are the sole author of your story and the only one responsible for its outcome. We misinterpret this ache so often. We think it is a call to action, a signal that we must try harder. We believe the problem is that we have not found the right relationship, the right job, the right possession, the right spiritual technique, so we embark on the great search. We turn our gaze outward, scanning the horizon for a savior, a solution, a sign. We look for something external to complete what we feel is missing internally. This seeking is born from the very ache it tries to soothe. It is a frantic effort to fill a God shaped whole with worldly things, and it only deepens the sense of separation because it reinforces the story that wholeness was somewhere else, with someone else. In some other time, this outward search is exhausting. It is like being a bird that keeps flying into a window, thinking the reflection of the sky is the real thing. We tire ourselves out chasing mirages. We build entire lives, entire identities around the pursuit of something that will finally make the ache go away. We become seekers, not finders. Pilgrims perpetually on the road, never arriving home. And all the while, the very thing we are searching for is not a distant destination. It is not a prize to be won at the end, a long and arduous journey. The fatigue you feel is not a sign of your failure. It is a sign that the path you are on is based on a fundamental misunderstanding. The separation you feel is not a geographical or a spiritual reality, but a perceptual one. It is a story you have been told, a story you have come to believe, a story written by the mind that has never known the language of the heart. And so we turn our gaze outward. This is the great human project, the endless campaign to find the missing piece. We are taught from a very young age that fulfillment is a destination, a point on the horizon we must strive to reach. We are given a map that points to external landmarks: success, wealth, admiration, relationships. We come to believe that if we can just assemble the right combination of these things, the internal H will be satisfied. We set out to build a perfect life like a builder constructing a house, gathering materials from the world around us, hoping that the right configuration of bricks and mortar will finally make it feel like home. This external seeking takes many forms, all of them wearing the mask of solution. For some, it is the relentless pursuit of achievement. We push ourselves to climb higher ladders, to collect more accolades, believing that the next milestone will finally be the one that fills the void. We stand on the peak of one mountain only to see the next, higher one in the distance, and the H simply relocates. For others, the search is for validation in the eyes of another. We look to our partners, our friends, our colleagues, even strangers on a screen to reflect back to us a sense of worthiness. We hand them the mirror and ask them to show us we are lovable, we are significant, we are enough. But this is a fragile piece built on the shifting sand of another person's mood, their attention, their own unhealed wounds. We also seek in the realm of possessions, accumulating objects as if they were talismans that could ward off the feeling of emptiness. We fill our spaces with things, hoping that the external clutter will distract from the internal silence. And perhaps the most subtle form of this seeking is what we might call spiritual consumerism. We shop for enlightenment as if it were a product on a shelf. We move from one teacher to another, one workshop to the next, one profound book to another, collecting concepts and experiences, hoping that the next technique, the next mantra, the next retreat will be the key that finally unlocks the door. We become spiritual tourists, visiting sacred sites, but never taking up residence within ourselves. The tragedy of this entire outward project is not that the things we seek are bad, they are not. The tragedy is that the seeking itself reinforces the very illusion of lack that initiated the search. Every time we look outside for an answer, we are implicitly affirming the story that the answer is not already here. We are telling ourselves again and again that we are incomplete, that wholeness is elsewhere. This creates a cycle of exhaustion and despair. We become tired, not from life itself, but from the burden of seeking. The weight is not the weight of our circumstances, but the weight of the story we carry about our circumstances. We are like a man looking for his glasses everywhere, growing more frantic by the minute, not realizing they have been on his head the entire time. The search itself becomes the obstacle. This exhaustion is the fertile ground. It is the necessary wariness that makes us stop, that makes us finally stop looking at the horizon and, for the first time, look down at the ground beneath our feet. The frantic search has led us in a circle, and we find ourselves back at the beginning, but with a new understanding. The answer was never hidden in a future achievement or a distant revelation. It was never conditional upon our worthiness or our effort. The most profound truth is not a complicated philosophy to be deciphered, but a simple present tense reality to be recognized. It is the truth of a presence that does not come and go, a voice that is not silent, a foundation that does not shake. The universe, God, the fundamental ground of being, whatever name feels right, is not a remote figure in a faraway heaven. It is not a concept to be believed in, but a reality to be experienced. And its primary characteristic is its unwavering here, ness, and now. Ness. This is the radical claim at the heart of this message. God is not saying, I will be there when you get your life together. The divine is not whispering, you will find me when you become more spiritual. The fundamental truth of existence is being spoken in this very breath. It is resonating in the silence that follows the sound. It is the conscious awareness in which all your thoughts and feelings arise. It is the I am that precedes the I am this or I am that. This is the shift from a theological idea to a living experience. It is the difference between reading a menu and tasting the food. The menu can describe the meal in great detail, but it cannot nourish you. The truth, I am here, is not a description, it is the nourishment itself. This presence is not an addition to your life. It is not something you invite in like a guest. It is the very space in which your life is happening. Your feelings of loneliness, your anxieties, your joys, and your sorrows all occur within this vast, accepting presence. It is the canvas upon which the painting of your life is drawn. You cannot be separate from it, just as a wave cannot be separate from the ocean. The wave may have a temporary individual form, but its substance is, and has always been, the ocean itself. The feeling of separation is the wave believing it is only its form, forgetting its true, watery nature. The truth, I am here, is the ocean whispering to the wave, reminding it of its source, its home, its eternal belonging. It is the realization that what you are seeking is what you already are, and where you are trying to go is where you have never left. This realization, this felt sense of a present reality, begins to dismantle the old story. The story you have carried, perhaps for your entire life, is the story of the separate self. It is the narrative of the lonely individual, the one who must fight their own battles, carry their own burdens, and find their own way in a universe that is largely indifferent. This story is not true. It is a compelling fiction, a dream of separation that feels utterly real while you are inside it. But the truth of I am here acts like a light being switched on in a dark room. The shadows and monsters you feared were real are suddenly revealed to be just coats on a chair and the play of light. They lose their power. The story begins to crumble not through force, but through being seen for what it is, a story. This story of separation is the root of all our fear. Fear is ultimately the anticipation of a future moment where we will be alone, unsupported, unable to cope. It is the belief that the presence will have withdrawn, that we will be left to our own devices. But if the presence is unchanging, if it is the very fabric of now, then fear has no ground to stand on. It becomes a ghost, a memory of a feeling based on a false premise. The same is true for loneliness. Loneliness is not the absence of other people. It is the felt sense of being a separate consciousness, looking out at a world from which it is fundamentally divided. It is the wave feeling itself as only a wave, forgetting the ocean. When the truth of connection, of inherent belonging, is felt in the heart, loneliness simply cannot persist. It may visit like a cloud passing in the sky, but it can no longer live there because the sky itself is recognized as your true nature. This is not a process of adding something new to yourself. It is not about building a new, better spiritual identity. It is a process of subtraction. It is an unlearning. It is the gentle, persistent setting down of a heavy weight you were never meant to carry. You are not trying to become one with God. You are realizing you have never been anything else. The separation was the illusion. The work, then, is not one of construction, but of recognition. It is to notice in this very moment the awareness that is reading these words. That awareness is not yours personally. It is the impersonal field of consciousness in which the personal you arises. It is silent, spacious, and ever present. It is the hair in which all of your experience is happening. And it is itself the very presence that says, I am here. You are not a person seeking God. You are that presence temporarily experiencing itself through the lens of a person. This is the great dismantling, the end of the search, and the beginning of resting in what you have always been. And so we arrive at the most crucial shift, the movement from the conceptual to the experiential, to understand the truth, I am here. With the mind is one thing, to feel it in the very cells of your body is another. The mind can agree, it can analyze, it can even find comfort in the idea, But it cannot truly know this truth. Knowing happens in a deeper place, a place before thought, in the silent, feeling awareness that you are. This is why all the scriptures and all the teachings can only point, they cannot transmit the experience itself. That is a journey you must take for yourself from the head down into the heart. This is not an intellectual puzzle to be solved, but a reality to be felt, much like the warmth of the sun on your skin. You do not need to think about the sun to feel its warmth. You simply have to step outside and allow it to touch you. In the same way, you do not need to endlessly analyze the presence. You simply have to become quiet enough, open enough to feel it. It is about shifting your attention from the content of your experience, the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations, to the context in which all of it is appearing. That context is the aware, silent, spacious presence that is your fundamental nature. It is the listening behind the sounds, the seeing behind the sights, the feeling behind the feelings. This feeling often begins as a simple noticing. You notice the weight of your body in the chair. You notice the sensation of the breath moving in and out without trying to change it. You notice the space between your thoughts, the little gaps of silence. And in that noticing, you may begin to sense a background of stillness, a fundamental okayness that has been there all along underneath the turmoil of your personal life. This is not a dramatic, fireworks-filled event. It is often a very quiet, subtle recognition. It is the feeling of coming home after a long, exhausting journey. Nothing in the external circumstances may have changed, but everything has changed because the one who is experiencing the circumstances has remembered their true nature. This felt experience is what heals. It is what dissolves anxiety, not by fighting it, but by revealing the vast, silent space in which the anxiety is happening. You are not trying to get rid of the feeling. You are discovering the part of you that can hold the feeling, the part that is untouched by it. A painful memory may arise, and instead of getting lost in the story of the memory, you can feel the raw sensation of it in the body, the tightness, the heat, the pressure. And you can bring your attention to the aware space that surrounds that sensation. You discover that you are not the contraction, you are the awareness witnessing the contraction. This is how the old stored pain of a lifetime begins to unwind. It is not analyzed away. It is felt and allowed in a field of compassionate presence until it naturally dissolves back into the silence from which it came. This is the final movement, the journey of a single inch. That is, in truth, the only journey there is. We have spent a lifetime, perhaps many lifetimes, navigating the world of the head. We have lived in the realm of concepts, labels, and stories. We have believed that the next thought would be the one to bring us peace, that the next idea would be the one to finally explain it all. But the head is a compass that points everywhere. But here, it points to the past with its regrets and memories. It points to the future with its fears and fantasies. It is a wonderful tool for navigating the world, but a terrible place to make your home. The peace you are looking for was never stored in a thought, and it never will be. The heart, in the sense we speak of it here, is not the emotional heart, though it includes feeling. It is not the physical heart, though it can be felt in the center of the chest. It is the core of your being, the seat of your true knowing. It is the place before language, before division, before the story of me and mine began. It is the very essence of the I am presence. To move from the head to the heart is to shift the very center of your gravity. It is to stop identifying as the thinker of your thoughts and to start resting as the awareness in which thinking happens. It is a movement from complexity to profound simplicity. This journey does not require a passport. It does not require you to travel to a distant ashram or to achieve a certain state of purity. It is the simplest and yet sometimes the most difficult thing in the world because it requires no doing, only being. It is an inward curl of attention, a gentle dropping down out of the noisy marketplace of the mind and into the quiet cathedral space of the heart. You can practice this now. You can feel the aliveness in your hands. You can notice the breath as it enters and leaves the body. You can bring your attention to the center of your chest and simply rest there as if you were sinking into a warm, still lake. You are not trying to achieve anything. You are not trying to feel anything specific. You are simply coming home. In this space, the truth, I am here, is no longer a phrase. It is a lived reality. It is the substance of your being. The separation dissolves because the one who felt separate, the thinker in the head, has been seen through. What remains is a sense of vast, loving, intelligent presence that is both who you are and where you are. The seeker has vanished, and only the sought remains, and it was here all along. This is not an attainment, it is a recognition. It is not the end of a path, but the realization that you were always home, simply dreaming of being lost.